There is a video that you can find on the YouTube platform, and it is they're like documentaries, um, three of them I think at this point, but it is from an individual. He's Canadian. I should have been more prepared because I just thought of this as I was bringing information concerning this book, more information, sharing more enthusiasm for this book. But there is an individual, and he's got several documentaries, and he's from the background of Buddhist meditation. He's like a monk, and and I've watched his videos about awakening and samadhi. I believe that's the name of the. If you search YouTube for samadhi awakening, you'll find these videos. But the last video I remember watching from that series, a samadhi awakening series, um, the person who was experiencing all this, getting all this knowledge, and he was surprised in that when he made contact at a very high level of when he was deep in meditations, he made contact with these beings that he had no background, he had no context of knowledge for these beings, in that he did not recognize their outer form. And the form that they had taken was this form. And I think if you're looking for that video and you see these Ahura Mazda, these Zoroastrian, Sumerian, these types of images of these winged messengers, this is what the image that he encountered. And it was surprising to him, and he had to go and kind of do some background. But it is the nine, it is the seraphim. And that is the outer form that they express themselves to our human third dimensional perception. They keep in mind these are very high level ninth dimensional beings stepping down their energy. So anyway, I wanted to share that information that sort of ties together vast traditions with different images and backgrounds. But these beings, these seraphim, the nine, and that is essentially what this book by Matthias Fleury documents, these messages from these ninth dimensional entities. And I do believe that this kind of information is going to be more prevalent, especially as the quantum clock resets on the May of the 25th, coming up here in just a few days. People are going to be shown the reality of their eternal energetic self, their Atman, or as we know in the West, the soul. They're going to be shown that reality. And there's a higher reality with a higher mind and a higher plan. And for the most part, people, and I myself will tell you this, I lived my life at times being in control of my soul or informed by my soul and walking a positive path of evolution. And then there were times where I got lost in materiality and just sort of spinning my wheels and, dangerously sometimes, and to the point that, I could have totally wasted my life opportunity for this soul expansion in these bodies, which is essentially a great opportunity for us to expand our spiritual evolutionary powers. So anyway, people are going to be shown the reality of that aspect of themselves here very soon with the energies as they continue to permeate our reality and raise the vibration of this reality, where you begin to pay less focus on your material environment and you begin to realize the true eternal aspect of who you really are. And it's going to be made clear for everybody. And it happened to me in 2021, September 24th, when I had the energetic release of the God Force Kundalini. And it, in my experience, it burned all falsehood out of me. And this book will tell you all about that. In fact, this is the first book that I read after that, and it helped me tremendously to begin to understand what I had just went through. But I was part of that process, and then in the Egyptian traditions has helped me understand this, was facing my own past negative karmic lifestyle and showing the separation between how I had been living my life from the soul aspect, oblivious, being trapped within materiality, and paying more attention to that rather than my eternal soul aspect, and showing the disparity thereof. And that was part of that whole process of individualization, of having the soul transfigure the lower three worlds, the lower three chakras, having the higher energy heart chakras. And incidentally, that process began in August 11th of 2021, where I at the Lionsgate portal, I received a massive download that began the change that culminated in September 24th, 2021 with the Kundalini awakening. But it began in the heart, which is the fourth chakra, the Bifrost bridge that leads from the lower world of hell, of the three lower chakras of, the animal world, which, hey, that's what we signed on for. But there's more. There's more. And this book tells you about that. And I believe everyone's going to be shown that reality very soon. And in fact, I just want to share just a message from this book, and also just to remind people, whomever takes any kind of value from these messages from the Umbanda New Earth Ashram, to get ready. People, get ready. The train is a coming. The trains are coming. The train to Jordan. The message comes from the 9 devas of crystalline fire, otherwise known to humans as seraphim, entities of extremely radiant light and power that usually stay in the 9th dimension and do not normally communicate with humans. These beings are the closest to the source of radiant essence. And now, I'm talking about God, the divine grid programmer, and now the long anticipated moment has arrived in which the 3-dimensional beings of this universe are connecting with other dimensions of fulminating light. Prepare to take flight, high and free. This message was decoded and transmitted by luminous beings from the constellation of the star called Sirius. The human channel is more receptive, talking about Matthias Fleury, to the 3-dimensional stellar messages than the ones coming directly from the 9th. Is anyone who's had any contact with the 9, it's a very high level energetic experience. And so, but anyway, the message continues. When translating and writing these light patterns of angled and undulating Devic information, the human transcribing this book sees lights that becomes ideas and hears heavenly bells that become words. On the other hand, the 9 devas of ethereal fire can use their power to talk through a human being as their channel, if one allows it. They can also change the human's molecular structure with their marvelous power and without needing any intermediaries. Yes, I experienced that after my awakening, and I was led to this book. I don't know, the synchronicities. That is the universe, how God communicates with images and synchronicities, how the source of radiant essence led me to this book, and it began the process, or the finishing process of my molecular structure. Now, if you are one of the few blessed to read this manuscript, the Luminous 9 have already started to modify your molecular structure. Be humble and accept this gift with respect. Now, and just to go on, but know that although we will mention physical changes, the process of modification will begin at an energetic level in the astral body, which is in turn directly associated with the physical body. So anyway, I'm not going to go on too much, but I highly recommend this book for people. I know I've had a person comment on they have the book ordered. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to see that this is money well invested. But also along with that, there's other types of words, ancient words, and I'm going to read directly from this. It's a mantra, and there's instructions. If you wish for a deeper and more intense connection with these loving energies, repeat these mantras 9 times out loud. Ashmiat ashmatat vyatat anabel bushtam. Ashmiat ashmatat vyatat anabel bushtam. And it means I allow the energies of the crystalline Deva Annabelle to embrace me. Ashmiat ashmatat vyatat anabel bushtam. And so after the process of death of the physical body, your genetic vehicle, and going through the burning purification of ultra-atomic hydrogenized rays, the soul loses all the dreamed archives, and the person completely loses memory of their past lives. On the other hand, if this soul is purified and restructured while it is active in the physical body, It will ascend to other dimensions without losing the memory of its past experience. And that is the opportunity that we have, people. And that is why I have learned since my awakening in 2021 with that energetic purification, the God force that burned all falsehood from my body and set me on my path, cured me of living, had the unholy demonic lifestyle that I had been living previously for 6 years, dangerous lifestyle, toxic, you name it. But I was brought forth from that, released, and put on this path and purified. And so, but the challenge, the temptation since then, and there's many of them, because that is what this third dimensional construct is all about, has been to, go back to the old ways or get back. No, but I stayed on the path of purification. And so when this cosmic fire pulse comes, and that's what's going to happen to the collective of humanity. They're going to be shown this reality. And for some, it's going to be too much. They're not going to want to go that path. They're going to want to continue on with the illusion, the matrix, and so on and so forth. But it is a process of purification. And if you have this experience, you have this awakening, you cannot, I highly recommend that, and this was God's source speaking to me, intuitively knowing this, the angel speaking to me, that the old life, no more. Pursue the new life of daily expansion and consciousness and awareness and the God force power. And please hit the subscribe button and leave this video a thumbs up. Namaste. Namaskaram.